Hello everyone, welcome back. And today I've got some really exciting samples that the lovely Lizzie Rosen-Jones sent me. So thank you so much to Lizzie Bean, LB. And I've got all the samples here. I have not tried them. They arrived yesterday and I was going to do a live stream. I just felt too tired. I've not been feeling quite myself lately, I have to be honest. Not just the cold, but a couple of other minor niggles I've had. And so, yeah, I was a bit tired, but I'm feeling all right now. So I'm recording this for your viewing pleasure and for my sniffing pleasure. And we will start with one called Soleil Piquant by Terry. So that means hot sun, I believe. Piquant usually means hot when it comes to talking about spices and things. So I don't know anything about this at all. I do not know the notes. A little bit on there, so let's see what we get. Oh, that's nice. That's it's definitely a beachy type of scent in that it smells like a white floral. It reminds me a little bit of Soleil Blanc from Tom Ford. Not exactly, not as sweet maybe. It's in that ballpark. It might even be a tuberose. It reminds me a little bit of Bronze Goddess from Estee Lauder. Nux Prodigieuse. All of those beachy fragrances. Guerlain Terracotta. I couldn't tell you what the notes are. Could be Frangipani. It definitely feels like very beachy white floral. Really pretty, really sunny. It smells tropical. Maybe there's a tropical fruit in here. I don't know. Usually with these tropical fragrances, you would smell coconut. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I'm not sure. But it definitely has an addition of something that's making it tropical, not just the flowers. So wouldn't surprise me if there was some sort of tropical fruit. It doesn't smell like pineapple. It could be something like a passion. Sometimes you get a passion fruit or passion flower. I'm not sure, but it's really nice. It's reminding me of when I was in my Frangipani stage the first time around. I think there was a particular fragrance that I really loved that had Frangipani in it. And it's reminding me of that. It's taking me to a particular fragrance that I loved a long time ago. Oh, I tell you what it's reminded me of now. I've got it. It's Bond number 9's Fire Island. That one. That's a tuberose beachy scent. Oh, I think I get cumin. I'm not sure. I thought I got a whiff of cumin just then, which feels like it would be out of place, but no, I don't think so. I might be imagining it. It's kind of musky, a little fluffy. It smells bright. Yellow and orange. I'd say it's tuberose, maybe Frangipani, possibly some other white flowers. That smell of hot sand, it really reminds me of Fire Island from Bond number 9. If you know that, I'd say it's fairly similar, but we are going from a memory that goes back a long time ago. I haven't smelt Fire Island for years. It was on my wish list, so I never really got round to buying it. I really like that. Thank you, Lizzie, for sending that sample to me. It's sunny and happy, but sexy as well, I think. I've got Nude Oud Nude from Guerlain here. I'm going to save that till last because I think that might be an interesting one that I've been holding out to want to try for a long time. So although my reaction to Cherry Oud was quite negative, I still am really curious about Oud Nude because I'm hearing some lovely things about it. It sounds like my kind of thing, but it all depends on the oud note, I think. I did not like the oud note in the Cherry Oud. I do not abide by such things. So here we have Cockatiel from Zoologist. This is the same as Powder and Dust from SP Parfums, except that SP Parfums Sven made his own fragrances, whereas zoologists have to get the fragrance compounded at a different place. So there's a chance it might smell slightly similar if they don't have the exact same ingredients that Sven had, because when it comes to naturals, the batches and whatnots can vary. So but I can tell you, in the air it smells just like Powder and Dust. Powder and Dust was a collaboration between Jana, who has the channel Tom Elise, and Sven quite a few years ago. It won a golden pair at the Art and Olfaction Awards, and I loved it from the first moment I sniffed it. And this smells just like it, without comparing it side by side to Powder and Dust. Again, I would say that's Powder and Dust. If someone said to me, smell that, I'd go, oh, it's Powder and Dust. If you don't know what Powder and Dust is, it's I think the notes have changed, the listed notes have changed. I think Victor lists a different fruit note, but initially it was listed as pear, and that's how I smell it. It's like a fluffy pear champagne. It's so yellow. It's the yellowest thing. So cockatiel is the perfect animal for it. It's yellow and fluffy. I think there's mimosa, which might lend it that fluffy yellowness as well. Oh, I love it. It's such a beautiful fragrance. I'm lucky to have 2 bottles of Powder and Dust still. And I actually only wore it the other day. And it's beautiful, it's long lasting, and it's gorgeous, and it just gets better and better on the skin. Musky as well. Bright, fluffy and yellow. It's so good. It's so good. Really highly recommend. Anyone who has similar taste to me, check out Cockatiel from Cockatiel. This is, my voice is still not quite right. Check out Cockatiel from Zoologist. It is an amazing perfume. So Lizzie sent me some Daisy Oh So Fresh. Now, I used to wear this. It was a signature for me for a couple of years. It was going back before I really got into perfume. Actually, a boyfriend at the time bought me a bottle for Christmas, and he'd gone into one of the fragrance shops, and the girl had recommended it to him. She said, this is the best. Everyone loves this one. So that's why he picked it for me. And actually, I really loved it. When I saw he'd bought me a bottle of perfume, I was a bit like, oh no, because even back then, I was so fussy. I knew what I liked. I probably wore about 3 different perfumes. There was Stella, Absolute, although I think that had been discontinued at that point. But any version of Stella I would wear. And I wore Clarins Eau de Jardin. Absolutely loved that one. I think there's one other I've forgotten. And that was about it. So when I saw he'd bought me a bottle of perfume, I was preparing myself to say that I liked it when I didn't, because I was and still am so fussy about perfume. And then when I smelled it, I loved it. So Daisy Oh So Fresh. Also, by the way, it's an eau de toilette. It has better lasting power than Daisy Eau de Parfum, like the original Daisy, because I ended up buying a bottle of Daisy and finding it quite weak. The Daisy Oh So Fresh is so pretty. I said just now that I really used to like Clarins Eau de Jardin. Actually, you could put them in the same category in terms of them being fresh, pretty, floral citruses. And this one, it smells pink, really. It smells like, I don't know, lychees or little pink fruits, whatever that might be, like fresh, watery pink fruits. There's a violet note in there. There's some citrus. There's probably some florals. I couldn't specifically tell you what. I would guess at white florals. But very watery, very fresh, without being aquatic. So not seawater, not sea air, nothing like that. Just a watery feel, like imagine a watercolour picture. Everything's sort of see-through a little bit. I really get a watery feel from here. Watery, juicy, fruity floral. in a really, it's just so pretty, and it's got its own unique identity. It doesn't smell too generic. It's such a pretty one. So yeah, I really do like that. So thanks Lizzie for sending me a little reminder. Daisy, oh so fresh. So nice. Not that I want to be reminded of the relationship, but the fragrance itself. So let's go to the next one. I'm just taking the sellotape off. This one's Fille de Berlin. So that means the girl of Berlin. You can see the colour of the juice. It's much like my new edition. So this is a Serge Lutens fragrance. This is. And so is this. And they have a very similar colour. My one's called Fils de Joie, means son of joy. And Fille de Berlin is a rose perfume that Lizzie only recently bought and was talking about. And I had smelled it, or I think I had a sample or a decant of it quite a few years ago now. And I did really enjoy it. It's a lovely rich rose, although I can't remember how it smells. But I remember I liked it. I never quite felt the need to buy it. So let's have a re-sniff now, years later, and see what we think. I do not know any of the other notes. I only know there's rose. I'd like to show you the colour of that. So that's one to avoid spraying onto light coloured clothing for sure. Oh, I can smell it in the air. That smells like a rose patchouli to me, but not really heavy on the patchouli. So it's a patchouli at the level that I'm totally okay with, but it does smell like a dark rose patchouli. Heavy gothic rose. What else are we smelling? I really don't know. I don't even know if it is patchouli, you know. I think it is. Yeah, I'd say there is patchouli, but it's not that strong because I'm doubting myself now. It's that really dark gothic rose. It's the rose of Portrait of a Lady. So it's that dark rose. It's a gothic, voluptuous, rich and jammy kind of rose, blended with what I think is patchouli, but not so much patchouli. So it's definitely not that strong on the patchouli, if that's what I'm smelling. Wouldn't surprise me if there's some resin in here, a touch of incense or something. It's really, really nice. I'm definitely going to give this one a proper wearing. I love the gothic, rich voluptuousness of it. It's a winter perfume. It's a sexy perfume. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really like that. Like it a lot. Can't wait to wear it properly. Yeah, stunning. Definitely has that niche smell to it. Like, it doesn't smell like something you can buy in a fragrance shop, but not modern niche. Like, none of the scratchy dry aroma chemicals that bother me at all. Just lovely, really lovely. Love it. So we've got 2 left, and the last one, I think, itchy nose. I'm not sure if, I think I smelt this before. It might have been John that sent me a sample, or it might have been that Lizzie's already sent me a sample of this one before. I'm not sure, but it's called Sakura from Dior, which is a cherry blossom. I'm pretty sure I have sampled this before, and it was either Liz or John that sent it to me. But we'll definitely smell it again. Now, after smelling that rich, dark, gothic rose of La Fille de Berlin, this is like a palette cleanser. It really is very simplistic, airy, probably a touch of citrus blending with a cherry blossom note. It has an almondy facet. It's got a fluffiness, like you can picture the cherry blossom and how soft they are, the soft petals. It's so fluffy, so airy, so light. It's like, is it powdery? I'm not sure. I'd quite say that. I don't think it's powdery, but it definitely has a fluffiness to it. it does remind me a little bit of some air fresheners I've smelt over the years. So not that it smells synthetic or anything like that, but it does remind me a little bit of you know, basic home air fresheners. So it doesn't excite me. It's very clean. It's very clean, but it makes me think of things that you use to make your home smell nice. In fact, toilet. It doesn't smell like toilet, but what you might use in the toilet as an air freshener or something. Which sounds so nasty, and I don't mean it like that, but so there's certain, this is all based on my what I've smelt in the past and my associations and stuff. So it doesn't mean that there's anything nasty or cheap or bad in here. But when I've smelt certain air fresheners, growing up, we always had things like Friche air fresheners and you know, certain florals were the name of the different air fresheners. And I think certain florals just remind me of air fresheners now. I think Friche being one of them. Now, I'd say there's more to this than just cherry blossom. It wouldn't surprise me if there's something like a Friche or something else in here. Like it's just reminding me of air fresheners. I can't help that. It will probably be better on skin. But I love how clean and musky and fresh it is, and I think someone else walked past me smelling of this. I think they smell really pretty. It's definitely really pretty. So yeah, that's Sakura from Dior. Now we are on to the last one, which is Oud Nude from Guerlain. So just take the old sellotape off. Oh, I've taken the label off. Let's move it down a little bit. Right, Oud Nude. I'm going to be brave and I'm going to put it on my skin. I might regret this because a little while ago Lizzie sent me Cherry Oud from Guerlain, and luckily I only sprayed it on paper. I couldn't bear it. I think the oud note in there reminded me of the oud from 24 Gold and Ragbar Lataffa, and also the Lancome one, Oud Bouquet. That weird patchouli oud smell that I don't think comes from oud. It's just an accord created, or maybe it's just one particular aroma chemical. I don't know, but I hated it with a passion. So if that same oud is in here, I'm going to hate it. So this is potentially self-harming that you're witnessing right now as I spray Oud Nude onto my hand. But all the notes, I can't remember what they are now. All the notes appeal to me, except the oud. I can't remember what they are. When a fragrance is called nude, it appeals to me because I like things that smell musky, clean, irisy. Usually nude kind of gives you the idea that it's almost like your skin but better kind of fragrance. Now I do smell a patchouli oud in the air, which I'm not a fan of. It's not really harsh though, to be fair. It's probably not as... I think I found the juxtaposition between the cherry notes and that oud in Cherry Oud just completely unpalatable. Whereas here, it's actually some really nice facets to this. And actually, now that it's calmed down, I'm trying to clear the air of of what we already sprayed. Now that it's calmed down on my skin a little bit, it's got a beautiful... This has actually got a cherry note. I'm sure it has. Cherry almond. It's got a beautiful musky cherry almond, like... I don't know. What is it? It's definitely cherry almond. It's like smelling marzipan. Actually like smelling marzipan. The initial patchouli oudy thing that I smelt to start with seems to have dissipated, which is great because I hated that. Not hated it. I didn't hate it as much as I hated the oud note in cherry oud. I do think I smell a little bit of patchouli, but it's soft and blending with that lovely marzipan. It smells like floral marzipan. So I don't know what, I'm sure there must be flowers in here. It smells a bit like heliotrope maybe, because the heliotrope and almond are often used together, because heliotrope smells a little almond-like. It wouldn't surprise me if there's heliotrope as well as almond notes or almondy type ingredients. It's a little powdery. The sweetness of it is a little sharp. It smells cleanish. I think I smell a floral accord. I don't know if there's some rose in here. I'm not sure. Or some orange blossom, or maybe both. I'm not sure. It's reminding me of a little bit. Now, it's not really that similar, but it has some similarities to Le Plus Beau Jour de ma Vie, which is a gorgeous floral almond vanilla scent. It's actually really nice. And I'm shocked and surprised. Now I feel like I'm getting cumin again. That's so weird. I'm sure there mustn't be cumin in here. There's something that's making me think of cumin though. A little fire, a little spice. I think I'm smelling cumin. I'm pretty sure it's not listed. I would have remembered that. But I do get a touch of cumin here. But it's not horrendous. I do get a little bit of spice, which I think smells a bit like cumin. Lots of the almond. Almond smells a little cherry-like. I think I smell some clean musks. I get a fluffiness from it. I smell almost like smoke. Sometimes I think it smells like cumin, and then in another intake of breath, I feel like I smell smoke. Or maybe even cumin on fire. But mostly I get this sweetness, the almondiness, and this floral bouquet. But I do feel quite a reasonable amount of this cumin / fire smell. I don't know if my nose is broken. Like, what the hell am I smelling here? I will have to revisit, but it's interesting. It's way better than I expected, especially after smelling cherry oud. This is really good, actually. Fascinating fragrance. I mean, it actually smells really interesting. I don't know what's going on in here, but it's interesting. It's pleasant. I like it. Yeah. Surprised. Very surprised. Hello, Editing Claire here. I just had to do an update on the Oud Nude, Oud, whatever it's called. It has changed on my skin, and I've got a few things to add. I do still feel like I'm getting a smoky cumin-like note. There is no listed cumin note. It's almost a bit like burning rubber. And I still get a sweetness. There's definitely lots of sweetness here. But I do feel like there are some woody aroma chemicals, some woody ambery aroma chemicals. Not really, really harsh. But it also is reminding me a little bit of Ragbar Lataffa and 24 Gold. So I do think it is using the same things as them, and also the cherry oud to create that oud accord. And it's also reminding me a little bit of What's In By the Fireplace from Maison Margiela. There's a kind of like a dry, sweet, smoky wood in there that's in a lot of niche perfumes. So I think it's an aroma chemical, and it's not unpleasant by any means, but I just feel like it's there as well, with underneath it all a soft sweetness. The marzipan hasn't lasted very long, and the sweetness now feels more sugary sweet and slightly vanillic, but the vanilla's very, very soft. There is a natural vanilla tincture in here, according to Guerlain, and I can understand that. But the very marzipan-like almond note has really calmed right down to just be a vague hint at almond, not really marzipan-y anymore. I would call it a sweet, woodsy fragrance in the same vein as By the Fireplace. Not exactly, not that close, but definitely a sweet, sort of smoky-ish, woody scent. It's not that exciting for me as it was. The opening I really liked, but now I think it is a little synthetic for my taste. I think Guerlain can do a lot better. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't smell particularly expensive to me. Doesn't smell that, yeah, it just doesn't excite me, unfortunately. But it's perfectly pleasant. I just think Guerlain can do better, that's all. So that's all of the sniffs I've got to sniff. Thank you so much for watching. A big thank you I'd like to say to Jen, who supported me on Ko-fi this month. So thank you so much, Jen. Really, really appreciate that. If you'd like to support me on Ko-fi, then the details are in the description. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.